Welcome to our channel, $1 Million Made Easy. This is a channel where we run numbers for people. In this video, we're actually going to use some averages just to show you how just changing a few different variables can drastically change what your retirement might look like. Let's say, for example, you've got $25,000 saved up. You're 35 years old, and you can save $400 a month. And you increase that by 3% a year. You see the $400 increasing by 3% a year, going down through here. You see both this $25,000 and what you're contributing growing by these amounts. This is the amount you would put in. Since you're 35 years, we want to look at somebody that's going to retire at age 65. We can change any of these variables. Now, this is the key point. Right now, we need to it's hard to project ahead what your expenses might be. Well, let's just say right now, you're $5,000 a month. We can change any of these variables. Over a 30-year period with a 3% inflation rate, you're going to need $12,136 in 30 years to have the same buying power as a $5,000 today. Okay, let's do one other thing. This is very crucial, Social Security. I looked up what the average average check for a 67-year-old was $1,883. Now again, all these are just averages, but I just want to show you how a few little changes can change these numbers so much. Now I want you to notice what we do on this channel is look at what the S&P 500 has done for the last 100 years, and those are the returns that we use. We project what some returns might do for you in the future, and the results are simply a possible range. And this is the range that we're talking about right here. In the last 100 years, given this scenario, by the time this 35-year-old retired, he would have enough money so they would never run out of money, even in the worst case scenario, even like returns like the Depression years or the more recent decade, the decade of the 2000s, where people could run into problems. But I want to go ahead and start changing a few variables here and show you how this might change. Again, this 1883 is actually going to go up, which is a neat thing about Social Security. Let me show you this. Change this to 1883. This goes up every year, folks. Again, all this is based on averages, but if you did this for 30 years, which we're talking about a 35-year-old going up to age 65, this 1883 that we'd be getting now, it'd be going up to 3,950 by the age 67. That would be his full retirement check. But again, we're looking at somebody who's taking it at age 65, so he's not going to get to 3,950. He's going to get to age 65 would be 3424, which is 86.7% of that that amount. So that's what we're seeing these numbers right here. So that means the expenses have grown to needing $12,136 a month. You're getting this month from Social Security because you're taking it at age 65, not 67. You're going to need $8,712 from your nest egg. How does that work out? Folks, this is the worst case scenario in the last 100 years. I want you to notice. I'm going to go down through here. Going down through here. It's just growing. Yeah, there's years where it goes down. But because you have such a long period of time, you can take advantage of that compounding. But let's start changing a few variables here. What if your expenses are $6,000 a month? Or you figure they're going to be $6,000 a month. So this shows you what we do in this channel. Still lasting over 40 years. Say you can only save $300 a month. Now we're starting to have some issues. The worst case scenario, you'd be running out of money in 22 years. The second worst, 23 years, and so on. So this kind of gives us some variables that we can look at to see, okay, how's everything looking for me right now? On the other hand, if you had nothing saved, you're just starting out and you have, say you're 32 years old, you can save the $300 a month. Now you've got 33 years for this Social Security to grow. So you're going to be getting $42.53 at age 67, but you're taking it at age 65, so you're going to get $36.88. But 33 years of this 6,000, you're going to need $15,914 to have the same buying power as the 6,000. You're going to get this from Social Security. You're going to need this much from your nest egg. That's why you run out of money so quickly, because even though you're starting out at age 32, your expenses are going to grow. You don't have anything saved up. Let's go back to this 25,000. See how these changes these numbers for you. Now it's lasting over 40 years. Look at that 25,000. See the key that made? Let's do 15,000. I'm just showing you what we can do on this channel by changing a few numbers. 15,000 still works. 10,000. Now you're running out of money in 23. That $5,000. Isn't that incredible that it can make that much difference? Say you're starting this at age 37. Now you're running out of money in 7 years in some of these worst case scenarios in the last 100 years. Yet if you save $500 a month, yeah, it's still running out in 16 years. The 20th worst, in other words, 80% of the time money would last 40 years. 10th worst would be that 90 times you'd be just fine after 23 years. But that's how we use these numbers. Again, we're kind of projecting ahead with just an average here. Again, if we go down to 5,000 a month for expenses, now your money's lasting over 40 years. Let's go back to the 300. Okay, you're running out of money in 10 years. So that's very crucial, what you're putting in monthly and also what you're beginning with. If you, for example, if you had 40,000 saved up by age 40, you can save 400 a month. Notice how all these numbers are changing. Now, in the worst case scenario, you got money lasting 27 years, 31 years in the second worst, and 34 years in the fifth worst. But 90% of the time, your money will be lasting over 90 or over 40 years. But that's what we do on this channel. We can change the ages. We can change what you're beginning with, your monthly amount. But this is kind of key. You need to kind of project ahead what you might be getting in Social Security age 67, which is very difficult to do, especially when you're age 40. You have to they take the high 35 years. Well, who knows what you're going to have for the high 35. But I just went with the averages, just showing you kind of some of the stuff we can do on this channel. By the way, if we change this to retire at age 66, let's see how these numbers. Right now it's 27, running out of money in 27 years. 66, it's lasting over 40 years. If you go down to 62, it's going to run out of money even quicker because you're only having 22 years for this Social Security to grow, as opposed to at age 67, you had 27. Here you got money running out way soon in all these different scenarios. So you might want to consider waiting until age 65 or so, and then you got a lot more, or you could save more. Again, there's no way to change what you currently have, but if you currently had 50,000, see what the difference that 10,000 would make. Now it's lasting over 40 years. That $10,000 made a huge difference, and that's going at age 65. So anyway, that's what we do on this channel. We run numbers for people. We love doing it. Please consider subscribing to this channel, sharing, letting people know there's a channel out here that will run numbers, that will create spreadsheets that show you some of these different issues that you might run into. Again, everybody's numbers are different. So nobody's going to have the same numbers right here. Nobody's going to have the same amount they're starting with, the monthly amount. They're going to put in how much you increase that, and especially if I do your Social Security. And again, what age you're going to take it at. There's all these different variables, and we can plug these in and kind of give you a rough idea of what it might look like in the future. Nobody's going to have the same future, but we love running numbers for people. So again, please consider subscribing to this channel and share it with others. Let people know there's a channel out there that does run numbers for people. And thanks for watching.